Hello to all fans of Naruto Lemon. I will post all Naruto Lemon Yaoi, Yuri, or Naruto Lemon stories only on the Boosty channel because Uncle YouTube condemns this. Therefore, I invite everyone who wants Naruto Lemon content to my Boosty channel. Good luck.
お前はどこまで見えている。俺の死に様か。
One day, something interesting happened in the land of fire. Konoha was attacked by a huge fox with 9 tails. At that time, Minato's wife Kushina was in labor. She gave birth to a son, whom she named Naruto. He had a family. They tried to seal the fox into the boy, but before that, he tried to pierce his future Jinchuriki with a claw and failed. The boy's parents shielded him with themselves, and Kyubi pierced them. Kushina said her last words and apologized to Minato for wasting his time. The fourth said, "Seal of the 8 elements," and a red fluffy rug appeared inside the blonde, and he sealed the other half of the fox inside himself. It was a shame that the boy found a family and lost it in one day. In the boy's subconscious, there was a library and a frying pan. In this library were scrolls and 2 letters from Minato and Kushina in case they died. Naruto was hated and feared by everyone, although the fourth wanted to be considered a hero. The blonde was walking as usual. He was 6 years old, but suddenly noticed how a girl with dark blue hair and a Byakugan was being beaten. Naruto decided to help. He stood up for them and distracted their attention to himself so that she would run away. A servant came for the girl, and all the guys ran away. Hinata, that was her name, did not even have time to thank the boy, as she was taken away and forbidden to communicate with him. Well, of course, there was a 9-tailed fox demon in him. Itachi was passing by Naruto, and Sasuke was riding on his back. The younger Uchiha took Naruto and put him on his back, and he sat on his brother's back. It turned out to be something like a human centipede. Itachi went to the hospital, but Naruto was kicked out of it. While the blonde was unconscious, he found himself in his subconscious. There was water up to his knees and a cage, inside of which was the Kyubi no Yoko. Naruto was scared at first, but he decided to start a dialogue with the fox. "Hello, where am I?" asked the boy. "You are in your subconscious," the 9-tailed answered lazily. "Cool, I am Naruto Uzumaki, what is your name?" Kyubi was surprised, because in all the centuries of his existence no one had asked his name. And for some reason he liked this boy. "I am the great and terrible Kurama." "Kurama, a beautiful name. Will you be friends with me?" The fox's eyes widened from such a question, because all his previous Jinchuriki asked for strength, but not friendship. "Let's go," answered Kurama, who for some reason felt happy and smiled against his will. This boy knows how to melt someone else's heart. Hooray! Now I have my first friend. So they talked about unicorns and the snake Akaki, who lives in the toilet. But then Uzumaki asked a very unexpected question. "How can I let you out?" The fox said that he needed to remove the seal and he would be free. Naruto slowly began to remove the seal, but then Ku shouted, "Don't." After all, he had already become attached to the boy, and Kyubi knew that if he removed the seal, Naruto Uzumaki would die, and the fox would have to be reborn for several years. The boy stopped removing the seal and then he woke up. He was in an unfamiliar room, and it turns out that all this time, he had been sleeping in an embrace with a boy with jet black hair in the shape of a duck's ass, black onyx eyes and pearl skin. His facial features were correct, as if his face was made by a famous sculptor, and if Naruto were a girl, he would fall in love. Naruto watched the peaceful sleeping face, but then his cheeks began to burn traitorously, and the fox grinned, "So you are a blue blood?" Then Sasuke woke up. He began to replay all the events in his head. The blonde wanted to ask where he was and what was happening, but as if reading his thoughts, Sasuke got ahead of him and told him everything about how he and Itachi carried him to the hospital, from which they were immediately kicked out. How they carried Naruto home and how the younger Uchiha did not like sleeping on the floor, and because of this he lay down next to the blonde. Both of their faces were redder than tomatoes, which Sasuke loves so much. "Sorry," said the brunette. Nothing, on the contrary, thank you. I am Uzumaki Naruto, and what is your name? Uchiha Sasuke. Let's be friends? Let's. At that time, Ku told him that he should be careful with the Uchihas. Will you have breakfast with us? Asked Sasuke. Naruto was afraid that he would cause them inconvenience and asked, "Can I?" To which the brunette answered positively. During the meal, Mikoto told about how she was friends with Naruto's mother and suggested that he live with them, since the blonde was left all alone. The boy agreed. So they lived, and then the guys entered the academy. On the day of admission, Old Man Third said something about the will of fire, but Naruto ignored it. Everyone was with their family except Uzumaki, and then the boy asked Mikoto and Fugaku to be with them, since the blonde's parents had died. Then Naruto noticed Sakura. She was beautiful, although she denied her parents. The boy even envied her. He stood with Sasuke, but suddenly they were pushed aside by a crowd. All the time that Naruto spent with the Uchiha family, he read about clans. And he saw Hinata. According to the scrolls, she was from the Hyuga clan and had a Kekii Genkai Byakugan. The boy approached her. She wanted to say thank you, but did not have time, because Hayashi Hyuga yelled at him. Naruto found Sasuke, who was afraid for him. "Where have you been?" asked Sasuke. "Are you worried? What got this from?" Sasuke answered embarrassedly. The blonde said nothing, and they went to look at the class. That same day, the blonde was called to the Hokage. He offered him to become a member of ANBU. The blonde agreed. The third said that Raven would be Uzumaki's mentor and his commander. "Can I come in?" asked the elder Uchiha. "Yes," answered Hiruzen. And then he entered the Hokage's office. Raven took off his mask, and Naruto threw himself on his neck with a joyful cry, "Itachi! How glad I am to see you." "So you've met?" asked the old man. Naruto muttered something unintelligible and continued hugging Itachi. That same day Naruto was given an ANBU uniform and a fox mask. And also got a tattoo. When Naruto came home he decided to train. The boy began to meditate and entered his subconscious. "Hello, Ku. Why didn't you answer me today when I was bored?" asked the blonde. "I was sleeping," Kurama answered briefly. "Can you train me?" "Go to the library, there are scrolls," said to his Jinchuriki Kyubi, but no one knew the main secret yet. Naruto did everything as told. He saw an envelope that said, "A letter from Mom," and there was also a second envelope that said, "A letter from Dad." The boy was surprised by this, but didn't show it. He read it. In the letter, Minato wrote about how Kushina beat him with a frying pan. There were even his apologies for leaving him alone. In the letter, Kushina wrote about him taking a bath every day, not going to bed late, finding real friends, about the 3 vices of a shinobi, and about him being wary of Jiraiya sensei. Both letters ended with one phrase, "Remember, you are the son of the yellow lightning and the bloody habanero." Without training, Uzumaki wanted to lead the subconscious, but the voice of Kyubi no Yoko stopped him. "If anything, Naruto, I am your father." After these words, Naruto tried to digest the information and thought that it was a joke, but the fox proved it. Flashback. October 10th. Naruto was 4 years old then. Today was the Nine-Tailed Demon Fox Festival and the boy's birthday. Every year at the festival, the blonde is beaten, calling him a demon. This day was not spared from beatings. The boy was walking, when suddenly a bunch of drunk shinobi attacked him. They yelled something like this: "You killed my sister." The boy was thinking, "These beatings again. What did I do to them that the whole village hates me?" One hit him in the stomach, another in the temples. The third threw a shard into his eye. Naruto lost an eye. A boy came up to him and beat them up, and then he asked, "How are you?" It was very unexpected. The blonde hesitated a little, but still answered, "Thank you." The boy offered to take him to the hospital. But he refused, justifying himself by saying that they would beat him too, and everything healed on him like a cat. That's how he met Sasuke, but he didn't know it was him. And Kyuubi treated Naruto and even gave him his eye back, though it wasn't blue anymore, but red with a vertical pupil. People didn't bother Uzumaki with questions about the eye, because it was under his bangs. End flashback. In general, Naruto got his whiskers from a fox. Life went on as usual. The blonde slept in class and counted how many words Sasuke would say in a day, and then went to train in ANBU. Itachi taught him how to break free from illusions and fire techniques. And since the blonde also trained in the subconscious, he learned Fuinjutsu. After Raven, Naruto's commander and teammate was Dog. Kakashi taught him Chidori and water techniques. The blonde had a weak predisposition to all the elements. He also learned the Flying Thunder God technique. Once, during Iruka's lesson, there was an exam on the transformation technique. Everyone turned into a teacher, but Uzumaki wanted to distinguish himself. And he used Sexujutsu. Iruka was already unconscious, but Naruto could not transform back. At that time, Tsunade from the Three Sannin was in Konoha. Bachan said that Naruto won't be able to reincarnate back and will forever remain a girl. Now it wasn't Naruto, but Naruko. Tomorrow was the Genin exam. Sasuke's POV. I entered the classroom first, as always. I sat down in my seat and started making a gloomy face. Most often, I came to class with Naruto, but for some reason today he refused. A blue-eyed blonde with gorgeous knee-length hair, which was tied in 2 ponytails, entered the classroom. There were 3 scars in the form of whiskers on each cheek. C-size breasts. I would fall in love. What am I thinking? She decided to start a dialogue. So what, gloomy ass, how do you like me? Usually all the girls pine over me, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm a dunce. It's Naruto. He always calls me that. Naruto, is that you? I'm now Naruto Uzumaki Databeo. Phew, good thing it's you. I answered. And did you like me? Well, I could have, if I hadn't guessed that it was you. She sat down next to me, and I began to examine my friend's new appearance. Hey! Why are you looking at me like that? I didn't sign up for this. I was staring at him, or rather, now at her, and didn't notice that all the girls had surrounded my desk. And they started saying something about Naruto getting out of here. She replied. Well, why didn't you come before me and sit down when the place was free, or aren't you that brave? She said with a grin. I decided that I had to stand up for her somehow, but they had already started trying to beat her. She used clones and confused them, and she decided to beat those who weren't confused with taijutsu. Guy Sensei taught her, but she didn't have time, because I blocked her with myself. The pink-haired girl distinguished herself the most, but she accidentally hit me, and I fell on the blonde. For the first time I thanked fate, because we kissed. She automatically threw herself on my neck, and I grabbed her by the waist. The girls wanted to continue trying to beat her, but the bell rang. I sat down by the window, then Naruko sat down next to me, and Sakura sat down next to her. End POV Sasuke. Then there was the distribution into teams. Naruko, as always, did not listen to anything, but remembered how Shikamaru prophesied him a team with Sakura and Sasuke. It turned out to be true. Team number 7. Sakura Haruno. Uchiha Sasuke. After this, all the people went deaf from Sakura's squeals. Uzumaki Naruko. The latter was happy that she was on a team with a childhood friend, but was sad because this Sakura was there. It would have been better if Shikamaru had been. All the teams had already left. Only the 7th team remained. Naruko prepared a trap. Sasuke wanted to give up the appearance of a gloomy ass and talk to Naruko. But Sakura was sticking to him. The blonde wanted to sleep and began to fall, but Sasuke caught her. She was sleeping on his lap. But the brunette still decided and stroked her hair, while Sakura was burning with jealousy. Then a knock was heard. Naruto woke up and saw a black spot. It was Uchiha Jr. Naruto's face turned red and she hit him with chakra, thinking that it was an enemy. Kakashi entered the classroom and was surprised. Oh, Naruto, you are here too? He asked. Kakashi-senpai. The blonde screamed and threw herself on his neck. The trap worked, and Sasuke even thought that Kakashi had more chances than he did. Sakura said that she was disrespectfully addressing the sensei, to which the other waved her hand. Kakashi and Naruto jumped onto the roof, while the other team members climbed the ladder. Kakashi said, "Well, let's get acquainted?" Sakura asked that Kakashi introduce himself first. "My name is Kakashi. I'm a jonin. You are not interested in dreams. I have a long life. What I love and don't love is none of your business." So we didn't learn anything except my name. Sakura was indignant. "As always, you are in your repertoire, senpai." The blonde answered. "I am Naruto Uzumaki, I love ramen and my friends. I don't like waiting 3 minutes for ramen to brew." "Ramen, ramen, ramen, do you like anything else besides that?" Sakura interrupted her. "Don't interrupt her," Sasuke said and looked menacingly at Sakura, which made her shut up. So, Naruto continued. "My dream is to become Hokage and bring back one village. And also to save the Uchiha clan from destruction." After the last phrase, Sasuke was in a stupor. "From what destruction?" asked the brunette. "Well, they are preparing a rebellion there, and it seems that that bandaged man ordered Itachi to cut out the Uchiha clan and leave you and himself." "I'll think of something, don't worry," answered the blonde. The fox said. "Mother Teresa." The sound of Kakashi's coughing made everyone fall silent. Now the one in the middle. "I am Sakura Haruno, my dreams, my hobbies." Looks at Sasuke. "Enough. What don't you like?" asked the sensei. "That upstart Naruto." "Hey! I didn't say I don't like girls in love." The blonde was indignant. "What, Naruto and an upstart?" thought the ash-haired. Sasuke, who had finally lost his temper and wanted to hit her, but Naruto's clone stopped him. "Hey! That's it, you're dead." The brunette shouted at Sakura. "Enough!" Naruto's clone shouted. "But she called you names." Sasuke was indignant. "She's on the same team with us, control yourself." The clone replied. "Okay now, kid. I'm Uchiha Sasuke. I want to help Naru and work in the Konoha police." "Thank you." The blonde shouted with joy. Kakashi scared everyone by saying that they wouldn't have to eat and told them to come by 5 in the morning. Naruto knew that he would be 5 hours late and would come up with some excuse like, "I got lost on the road of life." If only she knew how right she was. The next day, Naruto took food. One portion contained onigiri, dango, and takoyaki, and there were 3 portions, since she knew that none of the team would eat. She came at 10 and Sakura yelled at her, and Sasuke just chuckled. Uzumaki asked Sakura, does he always speak in interjections, for which she received a slap on the back of the head. The blonde offered them something to eat. Sasuke agreed. Who would have thought that the gloomy ass could accept food from someone else's hands? Sakura refused, since sensei said not to eat. Naruto said that it would be a test of teamwork. The guys waited for Kakashi. He told everything. The exam began. Sasuke and Sakura hid in the bushes to come up with a plan, and Naruto stood in the middle of the field. She used 4 clones that made a barrier, and while the ash-haired one was distracted by it, the original was already creating a Chidori, which he successfully dodged with the help of the Sharingan. Naruto told the end of the perverted book Come Paradise. Kakashi covered his ears, but due to the fact that the Sharingan reads lips, he had to close his eyes. Naruto took the bells and gave them to Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura was tied to a pole and was strictly forbidden to feed her. After Naruto ate half of her lunch, she fed Sakura, Sasuke did the same. Then Kakashi appeared and spread his ki for a second and said, making an eye smile. You passed. And so their missions began. The blonde loved nature and cats would run up to her and she would pet them. Once, when they were catching Tora's cat, Naru suggested that she take the cat to its owner and she would run away from her to her. Tora agreed, and while they were talking, Sasuke came up from behind and was stunned. POV Naruto. I turned around and saw my teammate. I would never have thought it was an Uchiha, because his face was very surprised, although usually it was in the style of, "Allah, I'm a brick." So we played a staring contest until Sasuke broke the awkward silence. Okay, the mission is over, let's go to the team, they've probably been waiting for us. To be honest, I was surprised, because he didn't ask about me talking to the cat. He asked, "Maybe you'll still give me the cat?" "Yeah, of course I will," a foot in the face. "I can't always give you a minute of glory." Okay. That was the end of our dialogue, and we walked in silence. When we brought the cat to the residence, the owner pounced on her, trying to squeeze poor Tora to death. The next time they wanted to give us a mission, unclog the toilets, look after the child, weed the beds, but I refused, and Sakura shouted, "We feel like servants." For which she received my signature slap on the back of the head. You have to call an Uchiha a servant. Hey! I'm supposed to be on your side. The pink-haired girl screamed. The third one's cough interrupted our showdown, and he said, "Okay, I agree. I'll give you a C-rank mission." I jumped for joy and shouted, "Hooray! Finally!" End POV Naruto. POV Sasuke. A man of about 60 came to us with a bottle of sake in his hands. He was indignant. "Hey! And this little brat is going to guard me? Especially this blonde with a stupid face." Here I wanted to stand up for him, but Naruto got ahead of me. Don't judge people by their appearance. I was surprised, because if someone had hurt my pride, I would have beaten them up at the very least, and I only had time to nod. When Sakura and I were in the bushes during the bell exam, I saw her fight with Kakashi. She's stronger than me, and if she wants, she can smash anyone into the wall. Where am I going again? It's decided. I'll train even harder. And I'll surpass her. End POV Sasuke. The next day, it was time to hit the road. Naruto was packed like she was going to war. Scrolls with throwing iron, poisons, healing herbs, and several first aid kits. Sensei said that she had to be there by 6, but the blonde arrived at 10 in the morning. Sakura shouted at Uzumaki, "You're late. Haven't you realized yet that Kakashi-senpai has a habit of being late?" Naruto said with a grin. The wind blew, and the blonde's jacket flew off a little, so that the ANBU tattoo was visible. Sasuke asked, "And what is this?" Sakura, as always, in her repertoire. "Yes, Sasuke-kun. And why didn't she tell us?" "Well, I drew it on a bet." Naruto made an excuse. Uchiha tried to wash it off, but all to no avail. "Don't lie to me at least," said the brunette, adjusting his sweater. Sakura was simply burning with jealousy. The blonde's complexion was redder than Kushina's hair. Kakashi came, and Team 7 set off. Naruto asked the birds to watch from the air and collected medicinal herbs. From the outside, it looked like a smiling girl walking and collecting flowers, and also talking to the birds. They were walking, and Sasuke decided to ask the blonde about her story. "Naruto, come here." "Huh? Didn't you hear? He said to come here." "Or are you deaf?" Sakura answered. The brunette moved behind Sakura and put a kunai to her throat. "Don't you dare call Naru names," he said in a pompous tone. Kakashi's thoughts, "We need to put a note that he fell in love." Sakura's thoughts, "Why the hell is my Sasuke standing up for this fool?" Sasuke's thoughts, "I got caught." Naruto's thoughts, "This is no squabble. We need to settle everything." Databao. The blonde heard Kurama's laughter, but ignored it. Kurama's thoughts, "Oh my god, what love stories are there? It seems that this Sharingan user fell in love with my daughter." "Enough!" the blue-eyed girl shouted. Before that, the blonde made 4 clones that held stones in their hands. She created a barrier that hides chakra and suppresses sounds. So what did you want there, Sharingan idiot? Said Naruto. Well, The blonde raised one eyebrow. Tell me about the ANBU tattoo, the brunette whispered to her. Uzumaki told about the day they entered the academy, about Itachi, and about the fact that she was Kakashi's partner. Uchiha listened attentively to everything. Naruto finished the story with the phrase, "Just don't tell anyone." Sasuke nodded, and they went on. The guys came across two puddles. Ku shouted, "Stop." Later, he explained that it hadn't rained for a long time, so the puddles had all dried up. Naruto shouted that there was someone in the puddles. The demon brothers appeared from them, they tore the sensei to pieces. Sakura stood in front of Tazuna. Sasuke stood in front of Sakura. Naruto used a barrier that narrows and thereby kills the enemy. Kakashi shouted for her to cancel the technique. The blonde was shocked, since the copycat decided to spare the enemies. He tied them up, and it turned out that the guys were on a B rank mission, or maybe even an A rank. Uzumaki sealed them in a scroll in order to settle them in the Whirlpool village, which she will return. Team 7 was sailing on a motorboat, using oars. They reached the end, and Sasuke promised himself to be more careful. The journey to the land of waves continued. And then Sasuke heard a rustle and threw a kunai there. He hit a rabbit. Naruto began to heal it. Tsunade taught her the basics of Iririnjutsu. Ku told him that the rabbit was domestic, and therefore it should not have been there. Kakashi and Naruto shouted in one voice. Get down. Sensei praised the blonde's reaction. A sword stuck into a tree and Momochi Zabuza, copy ninja, daughter of the fourth and Uchiha, appeared before Team 7. Not bad, said the Nukenin. Where are you from? Naruto began to say, but she was shut up. The battle began. The ash-haired man used the Sharingan. Uzumaki made clones that surrounded Tazuna. This fight was awesome until Kakashi-senpai was imprisoned in a water prison. Everyone already thought that this was the end. The ash-haired man was screaming for them to run and it was heard even through the water, but Naruto never gives up and so she quoted Obito. Those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their friends are worse than trash. Sakura was scared and it was visible on her face. Sasuke was scared too, but he kept his face like a brick. Zabuza said. What, you put on bandages and consider yourself shinobi? When you are on the verge of death, then you can be considered them. While he was talking, Naruto came up with a plan and whispered in Sasuke's ear. He nodded. The brunette threw a shuriken. So what? Is that the whole plan? How pathetic. The missing Nin said. The younger Uchiha threw another shuriken that flew past. He turned into Uzumaki, and she threw a kunai at him. Although Zabuza was able to dodge, he interrupted the water prison. Zabuza used techniques, and Kakashi copied them. Sakura said. Sasuke-kun, you are so cool, drawing out the last word. But without Naruto, I would not have succeeded, he answered. Without her? I did not know that you are so modest, I told you that it was you who saved us. Don't belittle her achievements. You irritate me. By that time, Naruto had already swum up. Sasuke tried to treat her wounds, but then he noticed that they were healing very quickly. Sasuke's POV. I was about to explain that she was a cheater, but I remembered that we are in a world where this word does not exist. When Kakashi was about to kill that missing Nin, a boy our age appeared in front of us. He pierced that guy with knitting needles and thanked us. He had a mask on his face, most likely he was from ANBU. Sensei was knocked out. Naru was about to run to save Sensei, when she also lost consciousness. It's good that I caught her at the right moment. I made a clone that carried Kakashi-sensei, and the original carried Naruto in his arms. Tazuna took us in. I got a room with a blonde, which Sakura was clearly not happy about. Tsunami treated the ash-haired man's wounds, and I did not leave Naruto and did not sleep at night. Soon she woke up. End POV Sasuke. POV Naruto. I woke up and began to remember what happened, then I looked around, and it turned out that I was in someone's house. I wanted to scream, when suddenly I saw the peaceful sleeping face of Sasuke, who was sleeping on me. I also realized that there was a rag on my forehead. I giggled and began to think of 1,001 ways to wake up Sasuke so that he would not forget this. The rag was wet, and I squeezed the water out of it onto Sasuke, shouting, "Wake up and shine." He woke up immediately and looked around. It was the first time I'd seen an Uchiha with a scared face. He probably thought they were enemies. He probably wanted to protest, but I covered his mouth with my hand. He removed my hand and went into a tirade about how worried he was about me and what had happened. To be honest, I felt sorry for him and at the same time pleased, and I hugged the brunette, and to my surprise, he hugged me. Then Sakura came with a bag of fruit and dropped it. Soon she ran away in tears. I ran after her and began to calm her down. End POV Naruto. POV Sakura. I decided to go visit Naruto. After all, we are one team. I already had a bag of fruit in my hands. Sasuke did not leave her for a step. What did he see in her? And then I come in and see this, they were hugging. I forgot why I came, dropped the bag and ran away in tears. Naruto ran after me and began to calm me down. Of course, I understand that we are one team, but to console me after all my humiliation. She is very kind. Then Sasuke-kun came and wanted to say something, but Uzumaki shut him up. As I understand it, it was supposed to be something offensive. End POV Sakura. POV Naruto. Soon, when Sakura calmed down, we had dinner and went to bed. I lay down on my futon, and Sasuke wished me good night. Morning. I woke up, the brunette was already gone. I left the room to ask Tsunami, but she was gone. Then I heard screams and ran towards the sound. Tsunami was tied up, and Inari was trying to save her. I used the Flying Thunder God technique and in a second I was behind them. I pierced those two guys with Chidori. Due to the fact that Tsunami was tied up, I took out a kunai and cut the ropes, then I praised Inari and ran to the bridge. End POV Naruto. POV Kakashi. Now I'm fighting Zabuza. If I go to help Sasuke, Tazuna and Sakura will be killed, and if I stay here, Sasuke will be killed. How I miss Naruto. End POV Kakashi. POV Naruto. I ran to the battle site and assessed the situation. Sakura was protecting Tazuna, Kakashi was fighting Zabuza, and Sasuke was fighting that masked boy. Hey, you, Naruto Uzumaki is right here, and heroes always appear at the last moment, got it? The image of a fool was created successfully. I decided to help Sasuke. I had this strategy, he hits the mirrors from the inside, and I from the outside, but it didn't work. In addition, Sasuke was pierced with Senbon, good thing they didn't hit vital points, so the mirrors couldn't be broken. I used the fox cover and went inside. After that I transferred chakra to Sasuke. The chakra threw off all the spokes and healed the wounds, and I started breaking the mirrors. I succeeded. In addition to the mirrors, I also broke the mask. This is the guy I talked to in the forest. Kill me, I'm a bad weapon of Zabuza-san, I lost. He said. No, you're not a weapon. Zabuza probably thinks so. Then Haku exposed himself to the blow, but I pushed him away with chakra chains. I saw Gato, who kicked the missing Nin's body. Haku must have been angry inside, so I let him kill this ship owner. People came to us, Tazuna was happy to see his daughter and grandson. The mission ended with me sending Haku to my future village and the bridge was named after me. End POV Naruto. Naruto threw a party where they remembered Zabuza and ate. It's sad, of course, that Zabuza died. If he had survived, the blonde would have had 4 villagers. Sasuke's thoughts, it seems like we couldn't complete this mission without her, plus she helped me, but why did she leave that guy in the knitting needle mask alive? Sakura's thoughts, the bridge should have been named Sasuke. Haku's thoughts, I made a friend, that's a success, I'll start a new life, but I'll never forget Zabuza-san. Kakashi's thoughts, after all, it's Uzumaki who pulls the team up. Blonde's thoughts, Probably, after this mission, the next one will be rank A. Kurama's thoughts: get ready to work in the garden, catch cats, and so on. The mission was completed successfully. The team submitted their report and Uzumaki ran to Ichiraka Ramen. She had an idea in mind to create a ramen temple, and Tucci would be the god. To her surprise, Sasuke was sitting in Ichiraku, although he didn't like the ramen, which made Naruto sulk at him for 5 whole seconds. Naruto's POV. As soon as I arrived at Ichiraku, Tucci gave me ramen on the house. I was very happy about that. Sasuke was there too, although he doesn't eat noodles. The brunette suggested that I go to the training ground to discuss a very important thing for his clan. And Naruto's POV. The guys came to the training ground, where Sasuke's family was in full force. So why did we come here? Naruto asked. Do you remember that day when we were assigned to the same team? Sasuke answered. Oh, right. I found out the name of that bandaged guy and came up with a plan. Itachi, you were supposedly ordered to exterminate the entire clan, leaving yourself and my teammate alive, right? The blonde asked. From where? Sasuke's brother asked. It doesn't matter now. Well, apparently it's true. Here's my plan. Naru said, handing the sheet of paper to Fugaku. The plan. 1. Uzumaki makes as many clones as there are people in the clan. 2. The clones use the reincarnation technique. 3. Naruto teleports all the Uchiha to the Whirlpool Village. 4. The clones pretend to be dead. 5. Itachi goes to Danzo and reports to him that everyone is dead. But to carry out the plan, you will need a lot of chakra. Sasuke said. Yes, but I don't see any other way out of this mess. Don't worry, I won't die from chakra exhaustion. While Fugaku was thinking about the plan, Naruto Uzumaki went home, and since the younger Uchiha was bored, he decided to follow her and find out where Naruto lived. The blonde got a luxurious 2-story mansion from her parents. Due to the fact that the barrier in the blonde's house only lets Uzumaki in, she had to inject her blood into Kakashi-sensei and her teammates. Here they reached Naruto's house. Due to the fact that she has some sensory abilities, the girl realized that Sasuke was following her, but then she got tired of it all, and the blue-eyed blonde turned around. So what are you doing here, Sasuke? She asked. I came to confess my love to you. He answered sarcastically. But we know that he is just shy. Okay, come in. They went into the mansion and Naruto began to tell her story about how she found and lost her family in one day. Sasuke had another puzzle in his head, because on the day of entering the academy, then she was still a guy. She asked her to be with Mikoto and Fugaku as a family, and plus to everything before that Naruto lived with them. He left after becoming a member of ANBU. The blonde offered him to spend the night and received a nod in response. Afterwards, she showed him her room and first Naruto went to take a shower, then Sasuke. Sasuke's POV. She came out in a towel with her wet hair loose, even like that she was beautiful, so now it's my turn. I took a shower and we had fun, ate ramen, played shogi, walked and trained. Then she invited Shikamaru, and for some reason my chest hurt. After that, I glared at him and he left. I went to bed in the room they gave me, and even though I was sleeping, I felt like someone was covering me. It's good that I had I'm a brick face back then. In the end, we exchanged numbers and I left. The most offensive thing was that she wrote me down as Duck Piper. Somehow, phones got to us from another world. But the coolest thing is that we became closer. End POV Sasuke. The Chunin exam was coming soon. The guys were called by Kakashi, but this time it wasn't him who was late, but his charges. The ash-haired man's thoughts: why the hell did they pick up my habit? At that moment, Konohamaru and his team were playing Shinobi, but he crashed into a genin from the sand village. Naruto saw this and ran to save her friend. She spread her ki, which scared Kankuro and Temari, and Gaara felt a kinship with her. Hey, you, by the way, this is the Hokage's grandson. Let him go, don't disgrace our village or I'll kill you, said Sabaku no Gaara. Oh okay, Kankuro answered. At that moment, a stone thrown by Sasuke flew at him. Sakura screamed. Sasuke-kun! Kurama screamed, there's a one-tail inside him. By the way, he failed to establish a connection with Shikaku. POV Naruto. Gaara looked at me strangely, and Sasuke stood in front of me in a pose a la, I saved you so that I could see his back. All the Sangenin raised one eyebrow, and Temari blushed. Soon Gaara asked my name and I answered, after which I whispered to him. Say hello to the raccoon. Sakura did not understand what foreigners were doing in Konoha. I learned their names on a mission in the land of sand. I told them about the Chunin exams, and then took both of them by the hands and used the Flying Thunder God technique, after which we found ourselves at the training ground. End POV Naruto. You're late. Before Sensei could finish, the blonde answered. We got lost on the road of life. Sasuke chuckled, and Sakura laughed a little. Sensei handed out forms to the guys. All members of team number 7 agreed to participate. On the day of the first stage, Naruto met Sasuke and told him that he would have to agree to answer question 10 and asked him to pass this information on to Sakura. Sasuke did everything as he was told. The guys entered the classroom, but first they had to dispel the Jinjutsu, which was noticed by Naruto, and not Sakura, who specializes in this. The blonde began to hug her former classmates. Sasuke was still a little, well, not quite, jealous of Naruto for everything she touched. At the same time, some bespectacled guy entered the classroom and told the exam participants to behave with restraint. He took out cards and started showing them to Sasuke, probably a spy. Well, Sasuke wanted to know more about each participant, and he agreed to look. A man with 2 scars on his face entered the classroom. Sorry for being late, I am the examiner of the first stage of the Chunin Shuriken, Marino Ibiki. Oh, Naruto, you're here too? Well, yes, master of torture. The class began to whisper, but all of this was interrupted by a knock on the table. The examiner explained the rules and gave out question forms. They were clearly not for a genin, but since Uzumaki served in ANBU, she answered everything. Naruto managed to examine all the participants and find out how Sasuke and Sakura were doing. Haruno answered everything herself, Uchiha used the Sharingan and copied the Chunin's actions. Ino used the mind transfer technique on Sakura, Gaara had some kind of technique with an eye, Hinata and Niji used the Byakugan. The blonde didn't notice how she fell asleep. The first stage was coming to an end. Marino Ibiki spread his ki and began to put pressure on the psyche of the participants. Now I will ask you the 10th question, but I will add a couple of rules. The first rule, you will be able to choose to answer this question or not, but if you leave, the whole team will leave. And if we choose to answer? Someone from the back rows asked. The second rule, if you choose to answer, but answer incorrectly, you will remain genin forever. But there are people who take the exam a second, third time. Consider yourself unlucky. The examiner answered. The number of participants began to decrease. Sakura was about to raise her hand, but Naruto stood up and said. Only cowards give up, Databeo. And if I remain a genin, I will still become Hokage. These words encouraged the other participants and Sakura lowered her hand. As far as I understand, no one else wants to leave. Congratulations, you passed. Ibiki said. As Marino explained, the exam was aimed at the ability to discreetly gather information, so they put Chunin who knew the answers in the class. And the 10th question was also a test. A girl with purple hair flew in through the window. Stop having fun. I am the examiner of the second stage, Mitarashi Anko. Are you ready for the next part? Awkward silence, great. Then everyone follow me. You're early, Marino said. Sakura thought that she reminded her of Naruto. Ibiki, did so many people really pass this time? Anko was surprised. This year, the candidates are much stronger. You can't tell by looking at them. I'm sure more than half of them will be eliminated in my exam. Sakura was surprised, and Naruto chuckled eloquently. Sasuke noticed that the blonde was now chuckling, just like him. Well, kids, you got excited too early. Tomorrow I'll show you where the crayfish hibernate. The boss knows where we meet. Oh, Naruto. Hello. Hello. You're as usual. The old friends began to hug. Uchiha, like everyone else, was shocked, but he didn't show it. Naruto's POV. I decided to celebrate passing the first stage at Ichiraka Ramen. I was already eating my third bowl, and when I finished, I took my wallet, but it turned out that it was all on the house. What a good day today. I heard someone calling me and it was him. End POV Naruto's. POV Sasuke. Of course, I knew that I would pass the first stage. After, some crazy woman flew into our window. She looks a lot like Naruto. After I found out that they are friends, I respected Mitarashi Anko because she is friends with my partner in mischief. When they were studying at the academy, Naruto taught Sasuke the thousandth pain, which he used against Irika, and the next day he tried it on Itachi. If Kakashi knew this, he would be proud of his student. After the exam, Sakura tried to get me, but I escaped with the help of the Thunder God technique that Naru taught me. I decided to go to Ichiraka Ramen. She spends most of her free time there, and invite her for a walk, and I was right, because she was there. I managed to hear that she was given 3 ramen on the house. About the fact that I was surprised how she eats so much and does not gain weight, nothing can be said. It's good that I learned to keep a gloomy face despite the emotions. Here she came out of the noodle shop. End POV Sasuke. Hey, Duckface, why are you standing guard? Naruto asked. Let's go for a walk. I don't mind. Naruto's POV. It turned out that this Sharingan user wasn't as boring as I thought. He could support any topic of conversation, and on top of that, he had a normal face. He was smiling, Databeo. This day needs to be recorded. Then Sakura came up to us, with a sad face. I invited her to come with us, and she said such things to me. It took me a long time to recover from the shock. End POV Naruto's. POV Sakura's. Our team passed the exam, and the next stage was tomorrow. I definitely need to prove myself in front of Sasuke. It's just that he and Naruto are pulling our team up, and I don't want to be left behind. Then we will have 3 kids together. I even came up with names. After the first stage, I invited the object of my affection for a walk, but he refused. I thought he had important things to do and went on, and then I saw him walking with her. Then my plans for 3 kids and a lavish wedding fell apart, as if they had never happened. I decided to follow them. My idol looked at Naruto for more than 5 seconds. And 5 seconds is a record for me. My inner voice screamed. Take revenge on them. But I understood that it was wrong. The couple noticed me, and the blonde invited me to join them, but I saw Sasuke shake his head, which meant no. To be honest, I already understood that I had no chance with him, and mentally rejoiced for Naru, but I accidentally shouted out the phrase. Advice to you. And love. After which I felt ashamed, and I ran away. Naruto, of course, tried to catch up with me, but Sasuke grabbed her by the hand. She broke free from the grip and apologized for something incomprehensible. And then she asked what that phrase meant. And I still had to tell her that Uchiha loved her. End POV Sakura. The blonde fainted, after which the hero of the occasion came running and asked Haruno. What did you tell her? The truth. Okay, she will tell me herself later, then I will take her to the hospital. Sasuke picked up Uzumaki in his arms and carried him. Sakura went with him, who had already apologized 100 times. In the ward, the blue-eyed blonde woke up. Where am I? Sakura, Sasuke? What happened to me? Sasuke told his version, and then Sakura admitted what she said. After which Sasuke and Naruto became like tomatoes, and Kurama laughed out loud. After Sakura left, Uzumaki asked. Is it true? Why yes. After that, she fainted again. Then when everything was normal, she came home to prepare for the exam. She took a scroll in which other scrolls were sealed, which contained food, throwing iron, herbs, poisons and first aid kits. At night, she could not sleep. The girl recalled all the events of that day. Of course, she fell asleep. By the way, she dreamed that Iruka was dancing a waltz with Sasuke, who was blowing her kisses, and all this to the wild laughter of Ku. At the 44th training ground, the examiner handed everyone a questionnaire that they had to sign if they agreed to die during the exam. She scared everyone except Naruto. Everyone signed the questionnaire, after which they were told the rules, that the scrolls cannot be opened, and if you have a scroll of heaven, you need to get a scroll of earth, if you have a scroll of earth, then vice versa, and when the team has both scrolls, they will need to be brought to the tower. The second stage of the Chunin exam has begun. It's time. Go slugs! Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura entered the Forest of Death. They walked for a couple of hours, and then the blonde walked away. Where are you going? Uchiha and Haruno asked in unison. The blonde came up with the best excuse. I need to take a leak. Ugh! Exclaimed the pink-haired girl. So you asked yourself. Thanks to her sensory abilities, Uzumaki found Team Dosu, and they began to fight. Kinyuta Dosu had a device on his right forearm and he used Kayamizen, sound control, at full power. The blonde used the fox cover and the fire phoenix technique. Kinyuta was defeated, but Uzumaki's ear went deaf. The fox soon healed everything. While Naruko was fighting, someone transformed into her and went to Team 7. What took you so long? Sakura asked. Sorry, Databeo. Wait, you're not Naruko. First of all, you have a ninja outfit on your left leg. Secondly, she doesn't apologize for trifles. Thirdly, in that case, she wouldn't have said her name. An imposter. Sasuke noted. Not bad. Sasuke tied him up, and a team ran to that imposter. It wasn't in their interests if Uchiha killed him, so they gave the 7th team the scroll. True, it wasn't an earth scroll, but a sky scroll. Later, Orochimaru attacked them in the guise of a girl. He used a very strong genjutsu. Sakura started crying and shaking all over. The younger Uchiha didn't stand out. He was shaking too, and on top of that, he saw his own death. Then the real Naruto ran up and saw the brunette giving the scroll to some team. The blonde was not aware of the situation and thought that the team had one scroll, so she gave a magic kick to both teammates. You don't understand anything. She will kill us. Sasuke said. I already told you that I will not give up. So come to your senses, it's an illusion. After which she went up to that girl and said. Snake dude, what are you doing here? Actually, it's a girl. Haruno shouted. Does it look like that? Uzumaki asked. Well, yeah. While they were talking, Orochimaru put a cursed seal on Sasuke's neck. Naruto put up a barrier that protected Sakura and Sasuke. Soon, Orochimaru left, since he did what he wanted. The blue-eyed girl sealed the cursed seal and healed her teammates. They both fainted. The blonde quickly provided first aid and waited for them to wake up. Tsuchi-kin from Team Dosu came to them to take revenge on them for the scroll. Uzumaki almost won, but then she was grabbed by the hair. Naruko was thinking of a plan, while Kin said. So soft. What, are you courting them? You should be training. The girl cut her hair and continued the battle. Soon, another member of the team arrived. If she had used her trump card, everyone within a kilometer would have died. Suddenly, Uchiha woke up. Sasuke's POV. I woke up, so, I need to assess the situation. Sakura is sleeping, nothing, it's good for her. I got up and saw Naruko in a terrible state. Her beautiful and long hair was cut off. My seal activated. I went to break everyone's arms. Sakura came up to me from behind and hugged me, but the mark did not go away. Then, when I had already broken 2 arms of some guy, I felt my cheek burn from someone's slap. Idiot, Uchiha crazed. Stop it already, you will cripple everyone or have already crippled them. I felt my cool tattoo starting to disappear. Naruko, thank you, of course, but we don't have a scroll, and there is only 1 day left. Actually, there is, she said and showed the earth scroll. After that, we went to the tower. End POV Sasuke. When the boys reached the tower, they found a sign that said, "If you want the power of heaven, let your mind soar. If you lack earth, train your body, prepare for battle. When heaven and earth unite, they will guide you forever." This is our secret, our eternal motto. What kind of nonsense is this? Asked Sakura. There is a hint that you need to open heaven and earth. Naruto and Sasuke opened the scrolls. Iruka appeared from the scrolls and pounced on the team with hugs. I knew you could do it. By the way, I found out that Sasuke and Naruto are now a couple, congratulations. After which he handed all three of them flowers. What do you mean a couple? Am I the only one who doesn't understand anything here? The blonde was surprised. I didn't understand anything either, okay, me, but you didn't answer anything, said the brunette. Before the nine-tailed attack on Konoha, Kushina found out that she was having a girl and told Makoto about it, and she had a boy, which means that your fathers agreed to marry you. The wedding will be when you turn 20, explained the teacher. So I wouldn't have had a chance anyway? Sakura was indignant. Well, yes. I was lucky, and they gave me an important task to come to you, with a message. What message? Asked Sasuke. Congratulations, you passed the second stage of the Chunin exam. To celebrate, I decided to treat you to a hot bowl of ramen. Naruto rushed to hug Iruka, and Sasuke was burning with jealousy. Hey! I'm not finished yet. Let go. Noodles are great. Especially after all the nastiness we've been through. Great. I'll eat whatever they give you. Sasuke and Sakura fell to the ground with the words. Does she ever get tired? What would have happened if we had opened the scrolls in the forest, Sensei Iruka? The brunette asked. Sasuke, your mind is still as sharp. This part of the test, a test to see if you can complete the task, those who break the rule and open at least one scroll. What's going on? Sakura asked. Iruka made a maniac smile. If the scroll is opened ahead of time, the participants fall unconscious. It's good that Sakura didn't open it. Sasuke and Naruto said in unison. Sakura's thoughts, we were miraculously saved. Sensei, what kind of writing is this? There's probably one word missing. Read carefully, the Hokage wrote this. What's written here is an instruction to all Chunin. An instruction? Yes, the sky means the mind, and the earth means the body. If you want the power of the heavens, let your mind soar. This means if you are not as smart as Sakura, then you need to prepare for the task. If you lack the land, train your body, prepare for the fight. This means if you have the physical fitness of Sakura, then you need to train. When heaven and earth unite, they will guide you forever. When mind and body are one, even the most difficult task will become simple. It's like Naruto and Sasuke. You completed the task brilliantly. Chunin is the leader of the team. Then Kakashi came and congratulated them too. Blue-Eyed wanted to joke and used 1,000 years of pain on Sensei. Uchiha did the same. Sensei burst into tears of happiness, because his students knew this cool technique. Then the team took a shower, and went to their rooms. By the way, Sakura was with Naruto in the shower, Haruno envied her. Uzumaki came to Sasuke and taught him a harem of bunny boys. By the way, in this harem there was also an adult Sasuke and Kakashi senpai, they also defeated Sakura with this technique. The third stage began. Anko, 21 participants have passed the second test. According to the rules, there will be a selection before the third test. The first in 5 years. All the guys entered the tower. Sasuke and his team also passed. Ino exclaimed. Your team is lucky, Kakashi, but they are not even close to mine, said Guy-sensei. Are you talking to me? Asked the ash-haired guy. Guy's thoughts, Okay, Kakashi, for now you're leading. Your carelessness is so annoying, but I will not let you get ahead of me. Tenten's thoughts, this is Guy's main rival. Judging by their strength, Master Guy will undoubtedly lose. Rock Lee's thoughts, Sensei Guy, the best teacher. Remember, Sensei Guy, one day you will be proud of me. Niji's thoughts, as I thought, all the best are here, here is Sasuke Uchiha. Dosu's thoughts, I will take revenge on you, Sasuke. Somehow, a lot of people are thinking about Sasuke. Temari's thoughts, only 7 teams out of 26 remain. Kurenai's thoughts, Akamaru is acting strange. Hinata's thoughts, Naruto passed too. Sasuke's thoughts, I don't like all of this. Hiruzen's thoughts, I didn't think so many would remain. Attention! Lord Hokage will explain the essence of the 3rd stage. Mitarashi said to Anko. Coughing sounds. Before the 3rd test, I want to explain one thing. Listen, you must understand. I will reveal to you the true purpose of the test. Sakura's thoughts, the true purpose? Why did the allied countries unite to start the test? They say it's just to promote friendship between peoples, but the true nature of these tests is a mini-war between the allied countries. What is he talking about? Tenten asked. You know history, the allied countries used to fight among themselves for absolute power, but in order to stop senseless destruction. The greatest wars began to compete on neutral territory, thus arose a battle, which is known as the Chunin test. So, why do we undergo the test? In order to become mercenaries? Naruto asked. True, I do not argue. The test was invented for those who will become Chunin, but that is not all. It is an opportunity for ninja to glorify their country and enter into a mortal fight with other ninja. The most powerful people of all countries attend the 3rd Chunin test. They are looking for warriors. This test will determine your fate as a ninja. Those were my words. Niji said. But these powerful people also look at which country has the strongest ninja. The strongest country will have a fit of orders, and the weak ones will have the opposite. Grandpa, stop already. I wish the fights would come soon, I can handle anyone. Naruto exclaimed. I am Gekko Heiate, the examiner for the 3rd stage of the Chunin exams. The rules are that there are no rules. The fight ends when someone dies or surrenders, and I can also stop the battle. Since many people have passed the 2nd stage, there will be a preliminary test. Also, I want to say that if you are sick, you can leave, who wants to? Sasuke, go away. Said Sakura. I'll kick their asses. Said Sasuke. Come on, Naruto. Say something to him. Haruno exclaimed. Let him go. Actually, he wants to kick everyone's ass. That's commendable, Databeo. Sounds of crickets. I'll go. Said Kabuto. Does anyone else want to? Silence. The 3rd stage of the Chunin exams has begun. Naruto asked Sasuke to wake her up and fall asleep. When the sign showed Naruto Uzumaki vs Kiba Inuzuka, the blonde got a very powerful slap on the back of the head from the Uchiha idiot, since she really couldn't wake up. Hey, what's wrong? Well, now there's a bruise. And I'm not insured. Yes, you are insured. Go, your opponent is already waiting for you. Answered, as Kurama calls him, Sharinganist. Uzumaki entered the arena, and Kiba relaxed. After all, he didn't know that Naruto played the role of an idiot at the academy. The fight began. The blonde decided to play and took out a katana. Inuzuka fought back, and later, after a clash of kunai and sword, he jumped back along with his opponent, thereby ending this beautiful dance. Naruto put the katana in its sheath and made shadow clones. Kiba's weakness was taijutsu, but then he got tired of it and Akamaru was used, who was given pills, causing the dog to grow and turn red. The dog used henge and transformed into his master. After which they used double claw of destruction. Naruto successfully dodged and created a barrier that sucks out chakra. The winner is Naruto Uzumaki. The blonde removed the barrier and healed her former opponent, after which she went to the stands to hug everyone. Kurenai's thoughts, what the hell? She was the worst student in the academy. Well, okay, she still became very strong. Kakashi's thoughts, I think she'll become the strongest kunoichi in Konoha in the future. Unbelievable. Sasuke's thoughts, I knew she'd beat him, but now we have to wait for revenge for that slap. When the blonde entered the stands, the first thing she saw was Hinata, who rushed to hug her. She was shy, but when it came to Naruto, Hyuga changed. Uzumaki hugged her back, and then hugged her team. She also hugged the Sharingan, which made Sasuke himself blush, but he hugged her anyway, and Sakura gave them love slaps. She called them that herself. Kakashi barely held back his wild laughter, and Nara was attacked by what Haruno calls her, Ino pork. Yamanaka wanted to hug Sasuke, and since he understood this, the Sharingan decided to hug the first thing that caught his eye. By the way, he hugged Kakashi-sensei. Sensei, I am sorry, I didn't want to hug you. And I wouldn't mind. That's how you treat me. By the way, I got offended. It all ended with Sasuke hugging Naruto, and the ash-haired one began to hug Sakura, because Gai-sensei was pestering him. At this time, Kurama was laughing his ass off, and Ino's right eye started twitching. Afterwards there was a fight between Shikamaru and some girl from Sound, whose name the 7th teen was too lazy to remember. Nara won, thus confirming his genius. When the preliminary fights were over, Uchiha decided to make fun of the blonde and washed her clothes, leaving his own. He also climbed into the refrigerator and replaced everything there with tomatoes. Then Naruto came and asked Ku to raise her hair like Kushina's and took a frying pan, after which she came to Sasuke's house and chased him all over Konoha. The next day, the guys made up, and the entire 7th team went to the hot springs, and Uchiha saw some old man spying on the girls, and, by the way, Naruto was there. Sasuke tried to beat him, but then a blonde came and unsealed a chakra-conducting frying pan, killed him, after which it turned out that this old man was her godfather. After Uzumaki killed that old man, she decided to kill Sasuke for complicity, but it turned out that he wanted to save her from her godfather. Then Sakura came and thought that Sasuke himself, the object of all her sighs, paid attention to her and decided to spy on her. Then she hit him with chakra, and the towel fell off, after which Naruto went to save her from fainting, although she herself was already a tomato. After Sakura understood what was going on, but she will never forget that incident with the towel. Chapter 18. Jiraiya agreed to train her and taught her the summoning technique, although she signed a contract not with the toads, but with the foxes. Naruto came to Sasuke and said that today the Uchiha clan massacre would begin. The clan meeting came, and the blonde told them about her plan. She created clones and transformed into each Uchiha. When it got dark, the Uzumaki clones smeared themselves with blood and lay down in the "hello, I'm dead" pose. The real Uchiha hid in the Konoha police building, where the original blonde was. Itachi came up with a Tsukiyomi that he would show Danzo if he doubted the clan's death. Each member of the clan, except Itachi and Sasuke, put their hand on Naruto. By the way, it rhymed, and she moved them all to Yuzushio no Sato. Nara fainted, but she had a pulse. She got into the subconscious and started talking to the fox. Well, hello, Kurama. Didn't miss you? You? Don't make me laugh. I still haven't recovered from yesterday. That Uchiha crazed idiot went to hug Sensei. Well, now I'll definitely be for their wedding. Listen, how about you release my 8 tails, and I'll see my parents. I'll release my 8 tails if that empty-headed pervert tries to spy on you again. Naruto hugged the fox and said that he was her hero, after which Kyubi's fur became redder than usual. Apparently he was embarrassed. Kurama healed her and threw her out of the subconscious. The first thing she saw was the worried faces of the Uchiha. By the way, some red-eyed ones tried to subdue the fox, but they failed. They thanked her and started choosing houses for themselves. Yuzushio wasn't a ruin, so everything was fine. When Danzo went to collect eyes for his hand, he noticed Sasuke crying over the bodies of his parents, or rather over the clones. Of course, this was the best show for the crowd. Shimura decided to take out the eyes right in front of the boy who survived. It turned out that it was a clone, and Itachi appeared in front of him, who with his Sharingan made Danzo forget everything that happened, after which he showed him Tsukiyomi and killed him. The Hokage wasn't happy about this news, but he was still pleased that they had managed to prevent a coup d'état. Naruto returned to the village and went to the idiot's funeral. Well, everyone thought so, but for the sake of decency they made a face of universal loss. She came up and put flowers on the tombstone, and then asked Sasuke how it went. The plan was executed perfectly and the guys decided to celebrate it in Yuzushiogakure no Sato. This holiday was very lush and beautiful. Naruto put on her festive yellow kimono with black inserts. At that moment, they were attacked by some imposter who screamed that she was Uzumaki Naruto, the future Hokage, and that she would save the whole world. By the way, she did not forget Databeo. Uzumaki and Uchiha Jr. dealt with her very easily. Sasuke used the harem of bunny boys, and the blonde used 1,000 years of pain. After the party, Naruto still had to put on Sasuke's clothes and all the Uchiha stared at her strangely. Some children, seeing the Uchiha clan mark on her back, shouted that she was the heir's wife. It's a good thing Uzumaki has long hair. When Sasuke and Naruto returned to Konoha, Sakura and Ino's eye twitched, and Sasuke suggested that Uzumaki live with him. However, after all, he had a mansion, and the blonde also had a mansion, she just wanted to keep him company. Naruto decided to take revenge on Sasuke for the tomatoes and forced him to eat only ramen, and then threw a party at his place. After the party, she found Karen and now she also lived with Sasuke and Naruto, which the former did not like very much, but he was convinced by the fact that they were distant relatives. The first week in the brunette's house was very interesting. Naruto woke up, cooked ramen, and not instant, which is a big progress, exclusively for her Sharinganist friend, she added tomatoes instead of meat. After Uchiha's eyes lit up, the blonde remembered this recipe. The second thing in the plan for an ideal day was to paint Sasuke's face. After he looked in the mirror, Uzumaki heard choice swearing and a promise to slap her with tomatoes. Then, when they ate, there were trainings. Uzumaki learned the Byakuga technique to scare Uchiha. And Sasuke himself trained with Kakashi-sensei. When she managed to learn this technique, Sasuke pestered her with a question about a purple pimple on his forehead, and then when he realized that this technique, the brunette shied away from her, because if his usual frying pan can terribly beat him up, then with this pimple there won't even be a wet spot left from him. And then she went to the foxes and learned senjutsu. After training, she, Sasuke and Karen had a lot of fun. The day ended with everyone going to their rooms, and Sasuke, as always, couldn't sleep and came to his beloved, after which he drew tomatoes on her face, and then fell asleep with a sense of accomplishment. And under her bed. So they lived until the last stage of the Chunin exam. However, as expected, everything went to hell. Naruto came to the exam in Uchiha clothes, and Gaara and all the other participants began to ship them. But this time she had to make ponytails, and so the Uchiha clan mark on her back will be visible, because if you leave your hair loose, it will interfere in battle. Sakura tried to beat her before her fight began, but when she noticed the Byakuga, she fainted, then they barely resuscitated her soul in her body. Sakura and Ino's fight began. Each of them screamed that Sasuke was hers, but then Naruto shouted that Sasuke had a girlfriend who was even closer than them. She had black hair braided into ponytails and 2 wrinkles from her eyes. Then Kakashi came up to them and asked, "You don't mean Itachi by any chance?" "Well, yes, although he is not a girl." Then Sasuke himself fainted, but before that he said that the blue-eyed blonde with 2 ponytails was also on this list. Naruto blushed, but added the ash-haired beauty, after which Kakashi-sensei himself fainted. However, let's get back to the fight. Sakura used illusionary clones and hit Ino with chakra, and then they simply fought using taijutsu and throwing iron. When everyone was almost exhausted, Sakura said that Ino only knows how to dress up and grow her hair. Yamanaka got angry and cut off her hair, then scattered it all over the battlefield. She decided to use the mind transfer technique, which made her entire team's eyes twitch. She made a snare out of her hair and ran chakra through it, and thus Sakura couldn't move. Yamanaka used the mind transfer and she succeeded. Sakura's body began to raise her hand, but Naruto shouted, "If you win, I'll give you Sasuke, Databeo." Sakura began to fight, and since she has a split personality, she threw it out of her subconscious and fell to the ground. Drawl. Naruto healed both of them and was about to begin her fight with Niji, when he gave up. The point is that Hyuga understood that he wouldn't even scratch her, since they had sparred during training. When Hinata saw this, she began to fall in love with Naruto more deeply, because she reminded her very much of the boy who saved her in childhood. The fight between Gaara and Sasuke began. Everything was going fine until Gaara used absolute defense. Sasuke's Chidori began to form in his hand and he scratched the Jinchuriki's body. Naruto ran to the Hokage, screaming for him to evacuate everyone. Something happened that no one expected except Kurama and his Jinchuriki. Sabaku no began to transform into Shikaku. When everyone was evacuated and looked at what was happening from the nostrils of the second Hokage, Uzumaki summoned Kurama and the Battle of the Biju began. Gaara fell asleep. Naruto put up a barrier that narrows and thereby kills the enemy, and turning on Byakugan tried to hit the raccoon, but accidentally slapped Gaara on the back of the head, after which he woke up and began to rub the back of his head. Shikaku and Kurama disappeared, leaving their Jinchuriki alone. Naruto stood up and staggered towards Gaara, and then she hugged him. Sasuke, of course, was jealous. Gaara asked how she became so strong, to which the blonde replied, "I will not let my friends die, they were the ones who saved me from myself, and if it weren't for them, I would have destroyed Konoha long ago. So let me be your first friend." And what does it mean to be friends? To be friends is when you stand up for your friend like a mountain and won't let anyone hurt him. You support him in trouble, and if he starts to sink into darkness, you will guide your friend on the right path. Then Naruto lost consciousness, and Sasuke picked her up, after which he carried her to his home in his arms. When the blonde woke up and saw how Uchiha Jr. and Karen were sitting next to her, and then rushed to hug her. The brunette and the red-haired girl had already found out that the old man third had died, and wanted to hide it so that Uzumaki would not be sad, but she noticed it herself. "Sasuke, why are all the people wearing black?" "The Hokage is dead," answered the Uchiha, and then realized that he had said it too quickly. "Huh? The Hokage is dead." Then Kurama crawled out of the seal in the guise of a small fox. "So why are you sad?" "The post is vacant. So you will be the fifth. And now you are a Chunin, all that remains is to get a vest and that's it," said Ku. Hearing this, the blonde cheered up, put on a "I am a brick" mask and went to the funeral. Naruto laid flowers on the tombstone. The guys lived together for a few more days before Uzumaki met Jiraiya, who offered to go on a journey to find Tsunade Senju, since she would be the next Hokage. The blonde agreed, and a lot of people came to see her off. When all the people left and Sasuke remained, well, there were also Sakura and Ino spying on him. Well, that doesn't count. He came up and hugged Naruto. "Promise that you'll come back." "I promise. It's a pity that I can't go with you. If it were possible, all my friends would go. I'm sorry. I'll wait for you, Dobe. Team." After these words, Uchiha slipped her a note unnoticed and watched her until her back disappeared from sight. Then Sakura and Ino came to him and started clinging to him, saying that the blonde was not worthy of him. For Sasuke, these 2 years passed as if an eternity had passed. Sakura and Ino were clinging to him, at least not Karen. She was just calming him down and trying to distract him. He decided to spend all his free time training, and he would combine the necessary and the useful. The necessary is to kill time, and the useful is that he will become strong and be able to protect Naru. For Naruto, these 2 years passed quickly. She learned the Rasengan and entered the Bija mode. It was difficult, because the Rasengan can be made using 3 stages. At the first stage, she was helped by a cat, which she took to give to Sasuke for his birthday. She went through the second and third on her own. When she was training, a crumpled piece of paper fell out of her pocket. Uzumaki picked it up and opened it. It said, "I love you. Uchiha Sasuke." The blonde blushed and couldn't get over what she read for a long time. They found Tsunade and took her to Konoha. In the previous chapters, she lived in the village, but then she left. July 23rd, the day the blonde returned. She stood on a pole and everyone pounced on her. The first was Sasuke, the second was Sakura, and the third was Kakashi-senpai. Sasuke gave her flowers, and she gave him a cat. Tsunade became Hokage and began to return the Senju clan with Jiraiya. Kakashi found his destiny with Sakura, Guy-sensei with Rock Lee. Neji finally confessed to Hinata. Ino fell in love with Sai. When Naruto and Sasuke started dating, all the girls from the Uchiha fan club cried, including Sakura and Ino, and, of course, Hinata. True, then Naruto met the 8 trigram 64 touch from Neji personally. Kurama found himself a fox, which had been sealed in Naruto since birth, but was in a cage. Ku released Uzumaki's 8 tails, because Jiraiya took up his own again, thereby seeing his parents, but we know that her real father is Kurama. She got her stripes and eye from him, and opening all 2 cages. A few years later, everyone was celebrating Sasuke and Naruto's wedding, and then they revived the Uzumaki clan. All the Uchihas moved to Konoha and celebrated the replenishment. One was an Uchiha, and the other was an Uzumaki. And then she became Hokage. Kakashi-sensei became the 6th, and when Sakura's parents found out that she married the Hokage, they fainted. The end of this story.